you doing, Mike AM? It's a good day for a podcast. He said, yeah, let's do it. I said, fuck yeah, okay, let's do it. And that's how it happened, and it's happening now.
I'm at 3 seconds, man.
I'm at 7, 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah,
that looks right. Oh shit!
We all up in the synchronicity thing.
Call us the police because we're all about that synchronicity. See, I feel like when we do the video calls, there's like this video element that's already being captured and just like going out into the ether. So one thing about using Discord as opposed to the phone is that it feels wasteful. Mm. So I don't know if should we just be sharing that? Should it be like a YouTube thing? And
we could do that. And well, you know what we could do is we could offer it as a Patreon.
Oh yeah.
Hey, ignore us. We're coming up with our business plan right now.
How do we gouge these idiots for all they're worth?
Yeah.
Post. And post.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was a good minute, 30 seconds, 40 seconds of content.
Yeah.
But,
why would anyone... I guess sometimes I watch podcasts, but like you listen to the It's Always Sunny podcast, right?
Yeah. Well, I listened to that podcast like they name their episodes based on the one that they're like reflecting on, right?
Yeah.
So if it's one of the episodes that's like one of my favorites from like, season 3, season 4, whatever, then I'll specifically go out of my way to listen to that episode. But other than that, it's kind of like if I do land on it that week.
Yeah.
But I'm really bad at I know people who are more like dedicated to their podcast listening. I'm definitely not like that. I'm very like sporadic in my media intake. Like I'm not good at checking out albums when it's so douchey, but it's like I'm not good at checking out albums when people are like, "Hey, check this out." I'll take a mental note of it, or like literally like a note in my notepad or whatever, and then I'll go back to it like 2 years later, and then I'll pitch them the same band that they pitched me, which is what happened with Trico. I'm pretty sure you showed me, or you or Graham, I think it was you, showed me Trico, and then I like ignored it completely.
Yeah.
And then when I finally listened to them, I was like, dude, this band's fucking sick. You got to check them out. And you're probably just like,
I mean, maybe I was, but also for the non-Patreon listeners, Eric just it said he was me flipping him off.
Eric said double middle finger up emoji.
Yeah. How about we do it in tiers? So it's like we'll release the transcripts of the episodes for free, and you can read it, or you can listen for $1 a month, or you can watch for $5 a month.
Yeah, and for $150 a month, you can have one of our XLR cords. You just get it. We'll sign it or whatever.
But it's like coming from a send on like my recording system. So it's you literally hear the sound check. You have it. It's like a 1,000 foot or however far you live from my house XLR cord, and it's plugged into your DAW, and you can just have it tuned in like a radio that only picks up one station.
It's like the most advanced like tin can system. Like it's like so not worth it. Hey, so when we were with Nigel, you were talking about somebody who said like every 3 seconds and how much time you had to edit out of that.
Yeah.
Out of an episode? Was it me? Because I realized when I was the person you were talking about me. Because I realized that the last 2 episodes I say like all the fucking time. Oh, and I
I
might
did
just
as well, which was ironic because I was even being conscious of it and listening back to that episode. I was like, is it me?
Yeah.
It's basically an article, like or the, and there's so many legitimate uses of it so much of the time, but then it's also a filler word. It's like a tick that every single person who speaks English has.
Right.
And I don't know. I think when you're editing out, you start to notice it more. Not that I do that with every single one. It's weird because I hear it now in other podcasts that I listen to. I was like, there's an edit, there's an edit, there's an edit. You know, you think people are like such eloquent speakers, and some of them are, but then many of them are polished up in post.
I think that's like part of the difficulty of like learning a language fluently is like hearing the person speak it. It's like even people speaking in like fluent Japanese or like Indian or something, they have their uhs and likes and shit, right? So it's like those little fillers are like thought, because like for me and for most people is you put it there instead of dead space, right?
Yes. Yeah, because you're trying, it's almost rhythmic. If you're playing an instrument, it's easier to keep chugging than it is to stop and count the beats and stuff. So I feel like the word like and other fillers like that keep you in the pocket.
That's why professional speakers, they're so good at like having a candor and then saying something else.
What does candor mean?
The next thing. Like, well, just like their I guess it's like their tempo of their speech or the way that they speak or the rhythm in which they speak.
Okay.
But I feel like most professional speakers are good at chopping out those uhs, ums, and likes
in their own minds.
And then it's almost like to you as like a normie viewer, you just see the like their speech is like, yeah, okay, they're like a powerful person or whatever, but it's like they're just like saying the thing that they want to say, then taking the break instead of saying like, and then saying the next thing, and then that sounds eloquent to people, you know?
Yeah, for sure. I
like taking
wonder,
a pause is like okay, and I'm such a fucking OCD ADHD nut that like I'm like, if I don't say like fucking like every second I'm like
it does project a sort of nervousness, right?
Yeah. I mean, even the people, even the podcasters out there who are like confident dudes or whatever, they probably, if you really pay attention to it, they probably do that shit anyway. So it's not like a confidence thing or anything like that.
Mm-hmm. I think it can be sort of a habit, and you can get into or out of it. But I've definitely, I do pay attention to it a lot of the time when I'm listening to things. I feel like the ones that what's really, it's different from just saying like, because if you're like trying to compare something to something else, but I just slipped it in there as well. It wasn't if you're like trying to compare something. It is, I guess it has a literal meaning of uncertainty, because you're already making a comparison in that sentence when I said if you're like trying to compare something to something else. It's saying that it's not only in the case that you are making a comparison, but other nebulous cases that you can't quite think of right now. But if you use it too many times, it can become like a crutch. And
there's some
that's
people that say like actually, like the word actually is like a redundant word because it's like if you're saying something very specific, then that's what it actually is anyway. So there's no point to say it, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like there's words that just like basically double what you're saying in a sentence or whatever for no reason. But like does have, if you're doing a contrast or a comparison, like does have a literal definition for sure.
I would be interested to listen back to that particular audio that I was thinking of, and seeing like the original, if I even have it. I'm sometimes save those, sometimes I don't, depending on how bad the hoarding instincts are flaring up that day. But maybe it's not even nearly as bad. I think I just remember a couple of instances in that one in particular where the person fell into like a sand trap of likes, some quicksand of likes, where you're like trying to get an idea like out of your head, and like you can't. And then if you were to take a transcript, you're just like, oh shit, this is a freaking mess.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So I think there was just a few instances of that where maybe the person was sort of nervous, or maybe what they were trying to get out was a little bit heady, and they were thinking it out on the spot, and I just kind of saved everyone from a couple of those, and I took a couple of those out for myself on Nigel's thing that I noticed. There's probably a few in there. I'm not being as picky about it lately as I have been in the past. I used to listen back to the whole thing and just kind of try to punch it up. But now that you just listen and take out the major incidences of dead space and kind of the chapters of what's happening, which absolutely we could I dream of incorporating at some point into what we send out there, so that people can look at timestamps of topics, just like what you've already created for me. It's just that I think about retrospectively doing all of the other episodes and the ones that you haven't done that for. And I'm like, holy shit, this would just take so long it's because it's not just passive podcast listening, like I'd have to be
the nice
sitting
thing about
there
having Nigel on was every time there was any bit of dead space, the guy's such a fucking like musician drummer guy that like anytime that came up, he was just like, dead space or dead air.
Yeah.
Like immediately. Such a fucking music guy. Like
just so in tune with the audience.
Yeah, he's like doing my job for me while I was there. It was great.
Okay, so now that we have this and this works, we know that so I guess if we were to hypothetically have a guest join us right now in this room, I would have the audio channel for you and the guest on a single channel, and then I would have my audio on its own channel, the way I'm routing it right now. And I don't mind that.
Yeah.
So that would totally work. So now that
because Discord is probably going to do its own work to kind of like level set. So like if the mix is like generally good. Also, the other thing too is like in the Discord calls, you can like left click on the person's like video or like profile in the chat window, and then it gives you that user volume. There's like a user volume scroll, and you can boost them or drop them down based on like where you need them. So if they're coming in hot, then you can drop them, or if they're really, really quiet, then you can boost them up.
Okay, that's super cool.
So that's yeah.
And I could even there's absolutely
I might have said left click, but that's right click on a traditional mouse.
Okay.
Two fingers.
And if I guess more videos doesn't bog up my computer more, does it? Is that happening in Discord or is that happening on my computer? The processing of multiple video signals. Are you looking that up?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. No, I was leaving a note that this is maybe a bit boring.
What? No, this is the good stuff. This whole episode is boring. This is such a piss off because it's like if this were like a Patreon episode, you're like, this sucks. There's no guest. They're just
talking. It has to be called like. It can't be called anything else.
Like.
Yeah, like, and other chat fillers.
You ever just have like a micro existential crisis when you're listening to some like trash low effort content and you're like, what the fuck am I doing with myself?
Yeah.
How lonely am I? Damn, that's sad. Is that what I'm running from? Why do I listen to podcasts? Sometimes, much of the time it's to learn stuff, but a lot of the time it's just to like hear something, and a lot of the time I actually like want it to be stupid.
Yeah, I mean, I listen to podcasts to try and get a chuckle. Just anything. Just trying to get anything out of me.
Yeah, just background chuckles.
Yeah, like if I could, if like 3 or 4 words go together in a certain way, it might make me laugh. Feel something.
How many chuckles per like 10 minutes keeps you engaged in a podcast?
What's that?
How many chuckles per 10 minutes would keep you engaged in a podcast? Is there like a minimum line? I guess it can be engaging in other ways. It depends what I'm
doing. Like, dude, if I'm doing the dishes, you could hit me with a chuckle every 4 minutes.
And you'll still be like, haha, awesome.
Stop digging up the garden plot. Stop. Sorry, my dog. Golden Retrievers.
Did they listen?
They do listen. They also dig and eat anything.
Sounds like a dog to me.
Yeah.
All right, so now that we have this amazing technology working for us, who from outside of Hamilton do we want to get? Outside of Ontario? No.
Well, I don't know. Everybody needs to fucking email the show and tell us what they think should be on it.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, yeah.
The Michael AM radio show at gmail.com.
I listened back to when I said, if you think you'd be a good guest on the show, I don't want to hear about it. Maybe that was pretty douchey. At this
point, the bar is so low. And everybody has a podcast. So if you think that your internationally successful podcast could enhance ours, please let us know.
Internationally successful podcast.
Yeah. Who knows?
Yeah, who are we calling out to? Rick Rubin, if you're listening, Broken Record Podcast, Michael AM Radio Show. Let's collab. Email me at the Michael AM Radio Show at gmail.com. If and only if you are.
Nuts.
You know who I'd like to hear? I don't know if it would be fun. Have you heard of Will Sennett?
Yeah. That's the guy that does like the like Instagram videos that are like one thing, but then they end up being like a really deep political meme. Right?
They're so out there, some of them. Like I just shared this one, and I was like, I know I've shared this before, maybe even more than once, but like,
I'm suing you. I'm suing you. You saw me crying in the parking lot of the gas station yesterday. You said, uh-oh, look at that crybaby. You didn't know you were making fun of the best lawyer in Newark. Wait a second. I'm sorry, what? Newark is in New Jersey, and New Jersey is right next to New York. Newark and New York? We're supposed to just be like, okay, who do you think you are? Who do you think we are? Oh, yeah, I'm from Ohio. Oh, what part? Indiana? Shut up. I feel like National Treasure right now. I feel like National Treasure Nick Cage. You think I'm gonna let this go? I am bipolar. Yeah, boys can be bipolar now, too. I'm coming for you, Newark, and hell's coming with me. I'm suing you. I'm suing you. I'm suing you.
he's wearing these shades.
I think it's over my head. I don't get it.
I'll send it to you.
You did send it. You did send it to me. I saw it.
You watched it too?
Yeah.
But what I'm saying here is that maybe that guy would be a funny podcast guest, and
you think we could? Hey, man, do you think we could get him?
that's what I'm saying.
So what do you do? Like, do you search up their profile, and if it doesn't say this email for bookings, you just DM them like, "Hey, would you be on my podcast?"
I would probably first go see if they have like a website or whatever, because the DM route is
Well, that's
probably
what I mean. Like sometimes on like Twitter or Instagram, it'll be like, "Hey, for bookings, DM this," or for bookings, email this person. This person handles all my bullshit.
Exactly. Yeah. So
Yeah.
and people do respond to their DMs as well, right? I think there's several ways to reach out, and like I don't know, like another creator who's not like crazy busy with engagements, but is like full time trying to just make content. I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility that someone like that would throw a bone to like an indie podcast, right?
Right.
So yeah, people like that, or you know that dude who you're always sending in the chat? He does like the how do guys hold their wieners when they pee thing. That's probably like his most viral video. Follow me, you fucking assholes.
Oh, Che Dorena.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like people
Funny
like that.
fucking comic out of Toronto. Che Dorena.
Oh, he's out of Toronto?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
I used to when I was doing open mics in Toronto, he was there all the time.
Oh fuck yeah. Yeah.
And now he's got like a lot of followers on fucking TikTok, and he's doing like US tours and shit now. Like the dude is you know, what do you say? He's a lifer, or he's like living for it. He's like giving it his all, I guess, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. A full time.
But I mean, a lot of it is like he just gets to fucking react to a video on his goddamn couch and like to get like 1 million hits. But like it's like, you know, that's what the internet is. So you did it. The guy is really funny though. Like his joke writing, like when I did like a show with this guy Jay Freeborn in Toronto booked this like weed cafe on near the Opera House.
Okay.
And it was like you had to get booked on it, but he offered me this spot because he had seen me somewhere or like heard about me somewhere, and so I went there. And then Che was doing a set there, and like my fucking mom and dad were just laughing their ass off at his shit. Like I don't know, he had this fucking joke about like the French and then Pepe Le Pew, and it was just like the way it was written. It was just so great. I'm not going to butcher it or even try to recall what it was, but it was just fucking hilarious. The guy's just a really good joke writer, and sorry, sorry, you brought him up for a specific reason though. I kind of went off on a thing there.
No, I think that was it. That's
that story getting
was...
him on would be sweet though, and I've been thinking about that since Michael Moses.
Oh yeah, let's make a goal of it. I don't think it's you know, I think it's possible. I'm crazy enough to think a lot of things are possible. Yeah, add them to the list. We're making a list right now. You don't have to write anything down. If you're already writing stuff down, you can though. Let's brainstorm some more. And maybe if you're listening to this, some of these names we're saying might make you think of other people that we're not saying. And that's the kind of thing you could email to the Michael AM Radio Show at gmail.com. And in fact, if you don't want to like open the email, because I don't know, I have this weird thing. Tell me if you feel me, where if I'm in email, I feel like I'm not going to properly send to the person. You know, I'm going to type it in wrong, and then they just don't get what I wrote.
You get like a domain send back thing?
No, not even. I guess that like in like messengers and stuff, I feel like it's easier to tell that you sent the thing if you do go to the link that we're always posting in the socials, or the Libsyn link, the main show page. There's a button at the top that says like email this podcast or something like that. In fact, this is like the pledge drive portion. It's like you're watching PBS.
Yeah.
And,
we also have Instagram at the Michael AM Radio, the Michael AM Radio Show on Instagram. Send us a DM if you have like a guest idea.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
anything.
Yeah. So you
could
go
be
to
my fucking friend who makes candles. Like I don't really. Whatever.
You go to the michaelamradioshow.libsyn.com, which is the main link that we always share. And right at the top, there's 4 buttons. Subscribe to this RSS feed, which, to be honest, I don't even know how to do. If you know how to do that, tell us about it, because it just like opens up this like block of code, and it's like, copy this, and you're like, where? What? It's so many numbers and backslashes and little alligators.
Little alligators?
You know the ones I'm talking about, right? I don't know what's. It's like the less than greater than symbol. Does that have a name?
Oh yeah.
And then
they're alligators.
Yeah. Well, because they tell you like the alligator wants to eat the bigger thing.
Right.
Remember when you're learning math? There's like a listen on Deezer link and a listen on Radio Public link. I don't know why those in particular. I don't even know what Radio Public is. Oh, it looks pretty slick. What do you listen to podcasts through, Eric?
Yeah.
Like what do you use? Spotify or I
just use Spotify, yeah. Or YouTube.
I use something called Podcast Addict. I don't know if it's like on Android. Yeah, YouTube too. I like YouTube because you just go to streaming it.
All right.
All right.
I'm
You gotta go to your
dip.
thing. All right. You have a good band practice.
Yeah.
right?
If you listen to this, thanks. We're kind of testing out like our online way of doing things. Follow all of our social media stuff. And like we said, like if you really do have a good guest idea, please send it. Because like we have our own guests and stuff. But I mean, I'm sure it'd be cool for you if you suggested a guest and then they actually ended up talking to us. So,
Ending recording now.